So you've taken the leap and started your very own ant colony. That's awesome. Now, you want to make sure your little buddies don't just survive, but they absolutely thrive. And you know what the biggest factor is? Their food. Today, we're going to break down everything you need to know about feeding your ants. So, what's the real secret to a bustling, growing ant city? Well, a cool setup is great, but the actual foundation for a healthy colony comes down to one simple thing: their diet. If you can understand what they eat and why they eat it, you've pretty much cracked the code. And you know what? That diet is surprisingly straightforward. It all boils down to just two key things, two nutritional building blocks that do very different but equally important jobs for the whole colony. Okay, think of it like this. Sugars, that's the high-octane fuel. It's pure energy that keeps the worker ants going all day. Foraging, digging, taking care of the little ones. Protein, on the other hand, that's all about growth. It's what the queen needs to make more eggs, and it's what the larvae, the baby ants, need to grow up big and strong. You need both, seriously. Without a steady supply of both, your colony just stops. All right, so we get it, sugars and proteins. But what does that actually look like? What should you be putting on their tiny dinner plates? Let's go ahead and stock the pantry. For that all-important energy, your best bets are super simple. A little bit of honey works great, or even just a mix of sugar and water. And hey, if you want to make things really easy and mess-free, a dedicated liquid feeder like the ones from Ant Shack is a fantastic option. And for that crucial growth fuel and protein, we're talking insects. Things like fruit flies, mealworms, or small roaches are all perfect. But, and this is super important, there's a critical safety step you have to take before you serve them up. Yeah, see, it's not just what you feed them, how you do it is just as important for keeping your colony healthy. If you follow a simple, safe ritual, you're going to avoid a ton of the common problems that new keepers run into. This little process right here, this is your key to success. It's a simple 4-step loop. Prepare the food so it's safe, serve it in the right place, give them just enough, and then clean up what's left. If you can master this loop, you've pretty much mastered ant care. Let's break down exactly what that looks like. First things first, and this is a big one, never, ever feed your ants live insects. A live mealworm can actually fight back and injure or even kill your ants. The solution is easy. Just freeze the insects beforehand. This pre-kills them and makes the protein totally safe and easy for your ants to handle. This next rule is an absolute deal breaker. Placement is everything. You have to keep the nest, where the queen and the babies live, super clean. Putting food directly inside the nest is just asking for mold and bacteria, which can be devastating for a colony. So the right place is always the outworld. And if you're new to that term, no worries. The outworld is just the open area connected to their nest. Think of it as their front yard, their foraging grounds, and, well, their trash dump all in one. Now, when it comes to portion size, just remember this simple phrase: less is more. Especially for a new colony, a tiny drop of sugar water or just a little piece of a mealworm is usually plenty. This cuts down on waste and helps you avoid unwanted pests like mite. You can always add more if they gobble it up right away. 24 hours. Remember that number. That is the absolute maximum amount of time you should leave uneaten protein in the outworld. Any longer than that, and it starts to get gross, attracting mold and mites. The rule is simple. If they're not eating it after a day, it's gotta go. All right, we've got the what, the where, and the how all figured out. Let's put it all together into a consistent routine that's going to keep your colony happy and healthy for the long haul. This schedule here is a perfect guide to get you started. You want to offer them sugars pretty regularly, maybe every few days. Protein, you can do a couple of times a week, but pay attention. If you see a lot of larvae, they're probably craving more protein. And of course, fresh water should always, always be available. That one is totally non-negotiable. And just a few final thoughts for you. First, watch your ants. They'll tell you what they need. If they all swarm a piece of insect, maybe offer it more often. If they start piling little bits of sand on top of it, that's their way of saying, we're done here and it's time to clean it up. Second, remember that a clean outworld is the best way to guarantee a healthy nest. And finally, just enjoy it. Seriously, watching them work together to tackle a piece of food is one of the coolest parts of this whole hobby. With the right food and a simple routine, you're not just keeping ants anymore. You're building a thriving little civilization in your home. You've got all the knowledge you need. Now the real fun begins. What amazing new behaviors will you get to discover? Happy ant keeping!